And I'm afraid this week's final story is also about bad news. It's about a war, one that is fast becoming endless. The war, of course, in Ukraine. Now, it's been 17 months, but things are only going from bad to worse. Ukraine and Russia are now deploying cluster bombs. They're pushing the war to a bloodier phase, one where death and destruction will front many military gains, and one where the humanitarian crisis will only deepen further. Now, this week, a bridge linking Russia to Crimea was blown up. Moscow blamed Kiev, and before anyone could realize what was going to happen next, Russia announced it was exiting the grain deal. Now, this grain deal was inked in 2022. Under it, Ukraine was allowed a safe passage to export grain through the Black Sea. Ships were guaranteed safety in the ports of Yuzhny, Odessa, and Chornomorsk. Some 32.9 million metric tons of grain left the Black Sea under this agreement. The majority of it was corn and wheat. What happens now? Now that the deal has been dumped, what happens? Countries around the world, remember, rely on Ukraine's wheat. From Lebanon and Pakistan to Ethiopia, Tunisia, Indonesia, Yemen, Kenya, Thailand, Uganda. It's a long, long list. A long list of countries that stand to be hit by Russia's dumping of the deal. Because this deal means that those ships cannot transit, that grain will remain stuck in Ukraine. What is the possible way out? What is the solution to this problem? And for more on that, we're now being joined by Dr. Nigel Jules-Davies, who's the editor, Strategic Survey and Senior Fellow for Russia, Eurasia, IISS, the International Institute of Strategic Study. Dr. Jules-Davies, thank you so much for joining us. Now, the impact of the Ukraine war now on food, on grain, is starting to be increasingly felt. Where do you think this is headed? Are we going to see a spike of food prices around the world?
We have seen some very unfortunate developments in recent days, which are already beginning to have an impact on food prices. So the root of this is Russia's decision to end the grain shipment agreement that it reached with Ukraine about a year ago. Russia has now said it no longer wants to abide by that, that it will treat any non-Russian ship traveling through the Black Sea as a potential enemy. That will make it impossible for Ukraine to continue getting its very substantial agricultural exports to world markets. We've already seen an 8% increase in the price of wheat, for example, in a matter of days. So we can expect this to get worse, I'm afraid.
It's also clear that the battle of attrition that is now playing is therefore escalating. We are seeing, the attack on the Odessa port, for example. What is the way out of this? Can Ukraine ship it by land to the West, or is that unlikely?
That's very difficult. Ukraine has, as you say, been actively looking at alternative land routes by road and rail through northern Europe. And it has made some progress in finding ways to do that. However, there are fundamental capacity constraints of the railways, of the number of trains and cargo capacities to support that. So even in the best case, only a small proportion of the grain that can no longer be shipped through the Black Sea could be sent by land routes. In no way is that an adequate alternative.
Let's hope that there is a changing of minds out here. Otherwise, the entire world is going to be really paying the price for this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Jules-Davies, for joining us with that view.
Thank you.